Good day, beautiful people. Welcome back to POV Politics, your go-to source for unfiltered political news coverage. You're hanging with your host, Shay, and if you're new here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because it helps build a more informed community. Put your tool bags down and crack open a beer if you're over 21, and let's discuss the side deal Donald Trump just made with the Intel CEO. What does this 10% stake mean for us? What about the job cuts, the slowdown, and the ripple effect in our union and community?
But that's all coming back. It's all coming back. But if somebody would have said that with Intel, would be a giant right now. Now, with that, they've had some bad management over the years, and they got lost. And I said, I think you should pay us 10% of your company. And they said, yes. That's about $10 billion. I don't get it. This comes to the United States of America. And I said, I think it would be good having the United States as your partner. He agreed. And they've agreed to do it. And I think it's a great deal for them. And I think it's a great deal. He walked in wanting to keep his job, and he ended up giving us $10 billion for the United States. So
here's the headline. Intel is getting about $10 billion in grants through the Chip and Science Act. But instead of just taking the money, the Trump administration said that taxpayers deserve something back. And that's one thing I guess we can't agree on. So the U.S. government is converting those subsidies into a 10% slice of Intel stock, about a $10 billion non-voting passive stake. On one hand, the supporters say that it's smart. Taxpayers finally get skin in the game, and if Intel turns around, the public benefits instead of just the stakeholders. But critics, including economists, investors, and everyday Republicans, say this blurs the line between government and private business. And here's where it contradicts itself. Many Republicans claim that they believe in free market, where small businesses are supposed to thrive without interference. But when you dig into the data, big corporations often use those free market rules to monopolize the market, while the little guy, the plumber, or the shop owner gets squeezed out. So the question is, does this deal really protect taxpayers, or does it give big government a bigger say in big business? I would like to know what you think. Leave your thoughts in comments below. Now, let's talk about what's already happening on the ground. Intel has long been Oregon's largest private employer, with about 20,000 jobs in the Portland metro area. But in the last 6 months, we have seen a huge slowdown. First came 529 layoffs across Hillsborough and Aloha. Then the data came in, and the numbers was much higher. About 2,392 jobs cut, roughly 12% of Intel's Oregon workforce. Some reports suggest that the real number could be as high as 5,400 jobs lost statewide. Those aren't just stats. That's fewer cranes in the air, fewer contracts for commercialized work, fewer gigs for plumbers, steamfitters, and trades across the Northwest. When Intel slows down construction, it isn't just engineers and chip makers who feel it, it's everyone tied to the building trades. Here's the ripple effect. For every 10 Intel jobs, about 31 more jobs are supported in Oregon's economy. That's everything from construction to food service and retail. So when Intel cuts thousands of jobs, the slowdown spreads across the state. And here's the kicker. If Intel uses CHIPS money to build new fab shops in places like Ohio, some of those aren't even expected until 2030. That means fewer projects here at home. For workers in Oregon, that can mean packing up and traveling to other states just to find enough hours, and that's life-changing for families and not in a good way. So why did Intel set up shop here in the first place? It wasn't because Oregon was cheaper. It was because of our water rights, research, infrastructure, and the high-tech ecosystem known as the Silicon Forest. Intel turned Hillsborough into a research and development hub, period, point blank, and that's why our locals have been working here for decades. But now, with the government owning part of the company, the question is, will Intel keep investing in Oregon or chase political incentives elsewhere? So, what can we do? We need to track local projects, show up, vote, and comment when new industry incentives are on the table. Make sure that those billionaires serve workers and not just CEOs. Because here's the truth, when Intel sneezes, our trade catches a cold. And let's make sure that the cure doesn't mean Oregon loses out. So, tell me what you think, leave your thoughts in the comments, and remember, facts over fear, love instead of hate, and always get your facts straight. Talk to you soon.